Welcome along to the Record Club, brought to you by Record Store Day, the official charts, and National Album Day, and proudly in association with Bowers Wilkins. It's Jess Iszatt here. Thank you so much for joining us. We are excited to say that our guest this evening is Fizz to talk all about their new album, The Secret to Life. We're going to be spending the next half an hour or so talking to Fizz about the brilliant new record, and then we're going to be putting forward your questions about the album for them to answer. So, if there is anything you want to know about the album, make sure to get involved. Drop us a question in the comment section below, and I'm going to be asking a selection of them in the second half of our chat. On top of that, one lucky person who sends in a question today is going to be randomly selected to win a pair of Bowers Wilkins PX7 over-ear noise-cancelling headphones. The album sounds really good in them, so make sure to get involved, get your questions to us. And also, I have the record here in my hand. If you haven't already got yourself a copy, we obviously recommend that you order one from your local record store once our chat with the band is over. So let's get straight into this week's Record Club and say a big hello to Dodie, Greta, Orla and Martin. Fizz, welcome. How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Looking good. Yeah. Right. So each week on the Record Club, to kick things off, we have a question from one of the many amazing independent record stores in the UK. And this week's question comes from Vinilo Record Store in Southampton. You know them?
Yeah, we played there like a week or two ago.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah. How was it?
Amazing in there.
It does.
Smells so good.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's great lighting.
Yeah.
What did it smell like?
Honestly, like vanilla and hope.
I love that. My two favourite scents. Well, they are asking you, we love your artwork in the record sleeve. Who designed it and what was the inspiration behind it? Do you think they mean the inside bit?
Yeah. So we have sort of conceptualized this place called Fizzville, which is kind of like a metaphor for the place we went to when we like wrote the album, which is like part town, part theme park, part trip. And when it came to actually designing the artwork, we found an amazing illustrator called Miranda Bruce, who lives in New York, who's the best. We love her. And you'll great, I love that. You'll see all of her illustrations like across the whole campaign. She pops up everywhere. And yeah, we just kind of told her the brief of Fizzville and like the idea of us being sort of kidnapped by our producer Pete Miles in his crazy UFO, and he like
is that him?
Yeah, that's him. Cat in the control room with him, which is cute. And he's abducting us from our sad, colourless lives in London and taking us to Devon to write the album. So, yeah.
Fizzville and Devon.
Yeah.
Is there? Yeah. And wait, so she's from New York, did you say?
Yeah.
Did you meet her, or did you like know some of her work?
We'd actually never met her in person. We just all found her work online, and she has this amazing like. Her color schemes are amazing. Her color palettes and like how she works with color is great. And then also like the scale and the sort of tone of her work is very like charming and also fantastical. And I think felt really perfect for our project. So we've actually never met her in person, although we can't wait for that day.
Oh yeah, hopefully. Also, I'm gonna say, how do you kind of send a brief for something like this? Did you have to like write it out, or did you have a meeting, or like how was that? How did that go down?
Gret did it. Gret kind of did it. Yeah. Like you should get the logo, man. Have you got it in your phone somewhere?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have Gret in the band because she is an amazing like artist. Visual brain. World building is just Mrs. Come on, sorry, cat out of frame. And so yeah, the logo of us as the letters of Fizz was something that Gret sketched up on her iPad when she was being iPad baby. And the original logo is also really sick. What Miranda did was amazing, and obviously Miranda like expanded it a lot. But the original one is also brilliant. I really love it.
Oh yeah. We just had this idea of like us. This was the original logo.
We did not have this idea. Gret had this idea.
Then we sent that over to her and sent her a bit of like a loose story of the kidnapping of Fizz by Miles and his UFO. Abduction. Yeah, sorry. Abduction. Yeah, and I think we'd sent her like a deck of like loads of references that we loved and visual cues. Like throughout the whole artwork sleeve and everything, you'll see references to all the songs. So there's a song called Strawberry Jam on the album, and you'll see that there's a volcano in the back in the inner sleeve that's like meant to be the like attraction at Fizzville that's meant to be Strawberry Jam like volcano. And then there's like a rainforest, which is meant to be the attraction where it's like based on Close One, which is like you go through the rainforest and like try and avoid all the snakes or ex-boyfriends. And then there's the High and Brighton roller coaster in the back as well. So they're all like based off of the rides and attractions at Fizzville are based off of songs on the album.
Is this Mrs.?
No, that's actually Dust, is the resident cat at Middle Farm Studios where we did the album.
Right, okay. And is that in Devon?
Yeah. That's in Devon, yeah.
Look, we're debunking this mystical world, and we're all going to arrive in Devon, and it's going to look just like this. That's how it's going to go. Obviously, shout out to everyone from Vanilla Record Store in Southampton. Thanks for your question. Also, I have to note in the sleeve as well, and actually, this is why everyone should definitely get their hands on a record, because just look at this. I'm going to maybe drop it on live on the stream, but like, look at that. That is just amazing. Did you guys have a hand in designing this part as well? Like, were you given choices?
Got to pick the colors, yeah. And I think each one, when you do a splatter vinyl, is unique. I think they'd literally just put globs of each. Yeah, we picked colors, but beyond that, it was.
Those are specifically from local record shops, I think.
Yeah, from like indie
right.
record shops. So you wouldn't get that in a HMV?
No.
No, go to local, support your local. Obviously, that's what we're about. Even everything from like the way the titles of the tracks are drawn, like Strawberry Jam, like we've mentioned, it's kind of like it's been written in jam. And I also love the details. So who actually wrote these? Like, where after the lyrics it says who does what, and it's like.
I think all of those.
I think it was Martin.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't remember what it says.
It's like Simon Dobson, effing trumpet.
There was a few we all dipped in on.
I made a Twitter thread of them the other day. There's been a lot of love for them.
God, he loves that synth.
Literally, it like cracks me up, all of it. I love it.
Yeah, that was me. I remember that. Yeah, I put Matt drums on everything, and then on the last one.
Fucking trumpet.
That's actually really good.
And obviously we've got like the free feeling of this record. Am I right in saying it took 2 weeks to record?
Pretty much, yeah.
How much of that was like pure live takes?
Quite a lot.
Yeah, it was like obviously every song was different, but like I think we wrote High and Brighton before we went down, so that was outside, and then there was a couple that we wrote when we were out in LA. We did Hell of a Ride and You Me Lonely, which were written, but then within the 2 weeks, so we had a week in December 2021, and then a week in July, I think, 2022, and like within those 2 weeks, we recorded everything, including those songs, and like most of them, we did a lot of it at the same time. So it was like vocals, drums, and bass, kind of loosely, and then layered up other stuff, threw on like organs and other guitar parts and things. But like, yeah,
million vocal stacks.
Yeah, everything's pretty lively. I think like Pete, the producer, is really, really big on like capturing energy and like excitement, and I think all of us have like fell foul of like overly sort of like analysing like how a song should be, and then by the time it comes to recording it, it's maybe a little bit stale, and like so like recording it while it was really fresh and we weren't like overly familiar with it was definitely the main bulk of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I have to ask, so for the inspo for this album, I feel like I've read a lot of names, but one of them, I kind of want a bit of clarification on. What is the link with Thomas the Tank Engine on this track, on this album?
I think that was that from the Deezer video thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a part in a song called Grand Finale, which is the last song on the album, which sounds. Oh my god!
Is Mrs. okay? This is the question.
Chaos killed her.
She killed her.
Mrs. Blink twice if you're okay.
Yeah, I think there's a bit in a song called The Grand Finale, which is the last track on the album, which sounds a bit Tom's Tank coded. So I think we just put that in as a joke, to be honest, but people are really taking it seriously.
I think I read it somewhere else as well. Maybe it's all just been like rumored from this one video, but yeah, that was definitely one where I was like, really? Were they listening to Thomas the Tank Engine for this?
Thomas the Tank theme tune slaps.
It goes off.
It really does go off.
It's true, catchy one. Which song on this album changed the most from sort of demo phase to its final outcome?
Probably Close One.
It was hard because we didn't really have a demo phase.
Yeah.
Like, I think when I've made my albums, there's been a clear like writing part, recording part. This one we would track the song as soon as we wrote it, and often the vocal you hear is just like the vocal as soon as you did it. So those two processes were essentially the same thing for this one. But yeah, Close One was a bit more of like a winding process and like a bit longer than the others.
Okay.
Just because there was so little on it, it was a bit more of a challenge to be like minimal, whereas everything up to that point had been very
just going for it.
Yeah. And there wasn't much like difference between the demos and the final ones, because even though we'd like written some songs away from Middle Farm, they would just be us for singing with the guitar around the table, like on a voice memo. And then we'd go straight into recording and producing them in full till the end, and it's what you hear now. So the actual transition from like writing to a fully realized song was really sort of streamlined. There wasn't any time for like tweaks or going back in and re-editing or taking things out or adding more stuff in. Really, there was just we didn't allow that time for ourselves because we'd be overthinking it, I think.
Do you think that you'd stick to that process for the next project, or if you were to do it again?
Oh, I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that we've said this so many times, but like the best part about this whole project is playing live, but also like writing, because it's just so easy with these guys. I feel like we could, if we wanted to, we could write like 5 songs a day, just constantly, all the time. But we're very busy. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, this project's like, has there been any like major crossroads for you, or I feel like maybe it kind of came together quite quickly, but there must have been some like sort of decision making in terms of like direction. Like obviously you all have the talent for songwriting, but like for the sound, it feels like it kind of came together. But were there any sort of crossroads for you?
A little bit, but I think because when we went into this project, we all agreed that firstly, there was no like plan, no end goal in sight. We didn't ever say, you know, let's write an album, let's sign to a label, let's start a project. We all just wanted a break from our own individual projects, and, you know, didn't want to put any pressure on what we were going to sound like or who we were going to be in this project, because that's what we were trying to escape from. So we just went down and had a great time constantly and said yes to a lot of things. I'm sure there were a lot of times when we like maybe disagreed on lyrics or sounds, but because there was no like pressure behind it, it really wasn't too hard to like let it go, and then the song moved forward in a way that was still unbelievably amazing. And like I think we all learned a lot from that, like letting go of that ego or whatever it is that thinks that they should take control and like put it in the trust of your friends, because we all trust each other and love each other's music so much. Like it really wasn't too hard to do that, and I love the end result. It's so crazy that it doesn't really sound anything like our own project.
Yeah. Is there like a favorite? So, for example, the highlights reel of Greta is different things like a troll or shark or Dragon Ball Z is a personal highlight of mine. I was just having a little stalk and I was like, this is actually making me laugh out loud. Is there anything for you that has been a highlight, like bar the music? Because obviously it comes hand in hand, like things like marketing and stuff. But I feel like this, again, like taking away the pressures has made things a lot of fun for you. Like you've been doing your podcast, like all the bits of promo around it. Like what's been a highlight for you, bar the writing and performing?
It's not a specific moment, but I'm just enjoying doing even things like this, like with these guys. You know, I think that even doing promo and speaking about yourself, when it's my project and I'm doing it for months on end, it just feels so self-involved. And I hate the sound of my own voice by the end. But sharing the load with in a group is a completely different experience, I think, and just feels like really much more fun.
Also, doing the podcast has been really fun. I think I've laughed so much on that podcast. And yeah, like putting it together has been really fun.
Yeah, guys, check out the podcast if you haven't already.
Yeah, I think for me it's like working with amazing creative people to like, because the world that we're like building is so expansive and like confusing, honestly. Nice to have worked with so many amazing creative people who not only get it, but like I think see it as an opportunity to also be really expressive and playful in the work that they do with us and for us. Like all the artwork we did for each single leading up to the album release was shot by a guy called JP Bonino, whose work independently of us is like incredible and so like immersive and abstract and surreal and like so many amazing you can see so many like amazing references in his work, but he's also like super unique and fantastical. So to be able to like approach someone like JP and be like, just do your thing, this is our world, this is your world, let's like put them together, was so like refreshing, I think.
Yeah, it feels so open. Yeah. What about you, Martin?
Yeah, kind of the same, honestly. I think like whenever we've been on like video shoots or with these live sessions, I guess that kind of crosses into like playing the songs. But whenever there's been like creative people outside of our immediate little group that get involved, it's just really fun. Like it feels like a playground for everyone. This project, I don't know. I don't want to speak on behalf of everyone else's projects. It's all different in it, but it feels like comes in and they're like kind of like a giant Mohican on you, and it's like, yeah, of course do that. But
yeah, why not? Why didn't I think of that before?
Yeah.
We have lots of fan questions coming in for you as well. So Matthew on the Record Club's Facebook says, hey guys, who would your dream collaboration be? Which is interesting because this is almost like a mega collab.
There's a band called Jellyfish that Gret introduced us to. I was going to say, are they 90s bands? Mm-hmm. I think a Fizz and Jellyfish collab would just go so hard.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're like, they only released 2 albums in the 90s, but they kind of all separated and went and did their own projects after that. But yeah, they're incredible. I would definitely recommend anyone who likes us just go back to Jellyfish, because I think there are a lot of crossovers there. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm. I also reckon a song with Madison Cunningham would sound sick.
We also have Raz on Twitter who says, where does the inspiration for your outfits come from, and where are some of the clothes from?
So I think when we first started like thinking about the styling, I guess, or the clothes that we wanted to wear, I think it kind of came, we all have our own, I think the challenge was like making sure that we all still had our identity from our own projects and our own lives and just like how we dress. But then like putting it through this like Fizz funnel, I guess we were like kind of inspired by the films that we all know and love, Willy Wonka and Tim Burton and like Wizard of Oz and those kinds of films, kind of like playful and maximalist,
saturated.
Super like whimsical, fantastical. But the actual clothes we're wearing are made by amazing independent brands, like often people who use sustainable ways of making and creating. And yeah, we've had the privilege of being able to wear some incredible clothes via our stylist Rubina, who's amazing. Honestly, there's so much creativity to be found by like smaller brands and more sustainable brands. So we're very lucky to wear things made by them for sure.
And Neve on Instagram is asking, when will Rocket League be turned into an opera? We need more than 52 seconds.
Let's make it happen. Yeah, we did it in the church last week. We did like it was technically one of the in-store shows, but it wasn't in a store. It was in a church in Kingston, and we did a pretty cool version there. Yeah. Very cool.
We have Boozy on the official charts Facebook. He says, how do you maintain a strong unity bond in the group?
Check-ins.
Yeah.
We do little emotional check-ins before we do like a big load of work. I think that's really helped, just like knowing where everyone's at before you crack on. So that's been good. I think the fact that we're friends really helps. Like, it sounds like a no-brainer, but I think we've all been so close for so long that there is like a real, I don't know, shared history there that does help the togetherness, I think.
Yeah, we have Celine on the Record Club's Facebook. He says, which song do you have the most personal connection with that isn't one where you're the main vocalist?
As good as it gets for me. I love it. I love every word. I think it's so good. And I can't believe that Gret is in our band. I'm just her biggest fan ever.
Gets has one fan, it's Dodie.
Yeah.
If two fans, is me and Dodie.
Sure, there's more than that. What about the others?
For me, it's Close One. That's such a jamming song. I love it.
I do love that song.
Yeah.
It's up there for me.
I think the topic is like super relatable and hot, and and I think just everything like locks in so well, and Ola sings so chef's kiss on it. So good.
For me, I'd say As Good as It Gets, or maybe Hell of a Ride.
Oh yeah. Martin, are you gonna pitch?
I don't know really. I'm quite. Yeah, like as good as it gets me for sure. I think the end of that is just like so good, man. So good. I've like listened to it so many times when I'm driving, and I just accidentally go about 100 miles an hour.
Okay, yeah, be careful.
Thank you.
We also have Celine on the Record Cards Facebook. He says, which song do you... Oh, no, we've already done Celine. Thanks, Celine. TT on Twitter, he says, when you're making music together, what tends to come first, writing the lyrics or the score itself? Thank you. I love your album.
It depends, really.
People love this question. I'm always really fascinated. Not that it's not a great question, to be clear, but like music or lyrics first is like... So
yeah, it is a quite common question, isn't it?
I don't really know the answer to be
I
honest.
don't know the answer.
I don't think
know.
it's for me. It's never either.
Yeah.
It's like both at the same time,
Mm.
and working backwards. Like maybe it's a melody, and then you just find a lyric to work with the melody, and then afterwards you're like, the lyric's not actually good enough, so I'm going to tweak it, and then it's like constant back and forth. Really, that's what I find.
Yeah, I think that you establish a vibe, and then you workshop the vibe via melodies and lyrics.
I think if you're crowbarring one into the other, it's probably not good.
Like, for example, with The Secret to Life, we started it with like stomp claps and like, I think there was like one really wonky riff that Ola brought in, and that's where we started with that. And then you kind of know you want it to be chanty, so you start like mumbling, waffling over a chanty thing, and then the words come.
That's how you make music, guys. No, it's true though, but I no, I get what you mean as well though. It's like if you make a melody or if you make all the sound to the song before you've written any of the lyrics, then surely how did you know what it was about then? But yeah, anyway, I'm not the music maker here. Is there anything, did you have anything? Because obviously it came together, like you said, with no clear vision of exactly how it's going to sound. So did you have any sort of experimental sounds, maybe something that wasn't an instrument that we wouldn't know from like a first listen of the album?
There's so much, like most of it is really organic just because of the way we recorded it. There really isn't a lot of like kind of gimmicky production, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of like our producer Pete's really good at manipulating organic things. So like in Close One, second verse, there's sort of Dodie's voice is made into this like warbly kind of pad that pulses, and so yeah, I think there's a lot of like organic things made to sound interesting rather than loads of crazy instruments. But
I think the space echo is like the main thing over everything. That's maybe like, I don't want to say the Fizz signature sound because I'm pretty sure it's been used before, but I would say that's like I don't know, that's what Fizz kind of like hangs on.
Yeah, it's like a delay effect. So there's a lot of our vocals going through it and that kind of like circling around in itself, and I think that helps some of it feel quite psychedelic. And Pete, our producer, is Space Echo's biggest fan.
And before I let you go, we are going to have to announce the winner of the Bowers wireless headphones. Yeah, what's next for Fizz? Like, are we already I know obviously the album's just come out, but is there going to be new music, or are you doing solo stuff first and then thinking about Fizz maybe later?
There's definitely a lot more of Fizz to come, a lot more of The Secret to Life specifically. We're going to stay in this world for a while. Wait, speaking of, we're going to stay in this world for a while. Wait, we're going to stay in this world.
Oh, Martin's gone.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm gone. I'm not staying.
But of course, I'm sure we'll all return to our solo projects, but Fizzville is always there.
Live and kicking, destination Fizzville. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Obviously, Fizz, get the record, Secret to Life, like I have. Get your copy from your local record store, support your local. And I'm also excited to announce that the winner of this week's Bowers Wilkins wireless headphones prize is Neve on Instagram. So make sure you slide into the Record Club's DMs. We'll make sure to get those headphones to you. Obviously, thank you everyone for joining us and sending in your questions. All previous episodes are available to watch back on our YouTube and also our brand new Spotify channel as well. I'm going to see you at the next episode of the Record Club. But Fizz, thank you so much.